Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. In today's video we're going to be going over the collaboration. I'm just going to give a quick overview of it and what I think of it. Yes, I still haven't done the video for this guy. It will be coming out soon, maybe even tomorrow, I'm not sure. I still need to record it. I've already done a test run of the team I'm going to use. It went well. All I need to do now is just record the video and then it'll be out. So, let's look at the characters first. He's kind of mediocre, so what they did recently is see his passive here says 30%, that's actually 40%. It's not a buff, it's just they wrote it wrong. So what it means is the underwhelming damage is actually a higher multiplier than what it is, which is kind of sad. But, you know, they didn't actually change anything about him, so if you see anyone saying, oh, he's been secretly buffed, or they buffed him, it's all clickbait. He's not been buffed, they've just changed the text. Which is, you know, which is what they can do, because they've done that with Tyr. And Tyr's, I'm pretty sure, was they just accidentally forgot to change the version out, and we end up with a broken version instead of what was meant to be released. But overall, he's super mediocre, really gimmicky. His damage is so inconsistent. Against a goddess team, he literally won't do anything. If they have Esterosa commandment, he won't do anything. If they have any sort of buff removal, he can't do anything about it. When his buff's removed, that's it. It's game over. There is no way for him to reapply his buffs. After his buffs are gone, they're gone, and they only last about 7 turns in total. That is all 3 buffs combined. Really bad. If I was to compare him to, like, another collaboration character, so let me just go to collabs quickly. And I put on view all. Like, if I was to compare him with someone, who would I compare him with? Well, I can't, like, maybe, dude, Levi was good, that's the thing. Like, he's, like, super mediocre. Levi wasn't too bad for his time. This guy, because the meta is so diverse, but it's very race dependent. So you've either got unknowns, demons, goddesses, or of course then you have sins, which is then a real characteristic team we currently have in the meta. But I'd compare him to, like, Amelia now. Is like, Amelia's like really bad because of her freeze, and her freeze can be removed. This guy's buff can be removed. Amelia's main way of causing damage was with her ult. Her ult is super mid, and her relic is also super mid. His relic is also super mid. Yes, it does cleanse him every time one of his buffs are removed, which means he gets a cleanse on turn 1, 2, and 8. But that's still not... That's like you get 3 cleanses. Melly gets a cleanse every turn. You know, Amelia's freeze is now completely useless because, of course, passive cleanse. His buff is completely useless because you've got, like, Esterosa commandment. You've got, you know, anyone who can remove buffs. Even the goddess team, the current meta, actually makes this guy horrible. I have not versed this guy once in PvP since his release. Now, if I was to compare that to Overlord, I still see some of the Overlord characters this day. I've seen Shultir and Ainz in the same period of time this guy's been out, right? This dude right here, I have versed those two, Ainz and Shultir, more than I have versed this guy. I've not versed him once in PvP. Which is sad. Because everyone thought he was going to be super good, he's going to be super broken, he was going to be like meta breaking. And no, actually I've not seen any of the collaboration characters in PvP. I haven't seen Zahad or Yuri at all. Even though Yuri is actually quite good, and is actually in my opinion, probably the one of the most worth it. So I'd put her number 2. Like, but that's still good because there's only 3 characters. But it doesn't sound that good. Of course, here you have Yuri, who is... Oh, I don't want to say, like, the best character in this collab. She is very good, don't get me wrong. And, pardon me, I do think that they gave her definitely a good kit, and at first it looked very underwhelming, but in practice it was very fair. And I think that is really good, and I think that's the reason why she doesn't have any effects on her skills. And that's the reason her skills aren't super busted, is because, well, you know, maybe they gave her AoE Pierce, and they thought, okay, that's too strong, because she provides so much support as it is, you don't really want to support DPS, because then it turns out like LR Escanor, who is actually a support DPS, he applies his blaze stacks, and of course, he deals a lot of damage. She provides a lot of damage lower, she has a lot of util, and she's overall a super good character. She actually solo-handedly bring humans back, which for a collaboration character, I don't think we've seen any collaboration character fully bring back a meta. Like, you could say, oh, Albedo, but Albedo, you know, Unknown was already a meta team when Albedo came out. Maybe Ghislaine. Ghislaine may have brought Unknowns back, because Ghislaine was quite good. I don't think we really had any other quite good Unknowns. We had, like, Festival Merlin, Philo. I think Ghislaine really brought Unknowns back. I think that's really it, really. Rudius was okay, but he was too much for Glass Cannon. And still to this day, he's not that good in PvP. And of course, then we have the insane PvE character. He is very good. I am kind of sad that he is still stuck behind a 600 diamond wall, because 600 diamonds for a PvE character is like Mikasa, right? If you didn't have Mikasa, you had to go 600 diamonds basically to get it from PvE, which is, it's okay, right? But she's a PvE character, and so is he. But the fact is that his restrictions are only Demonic Beast and PvP, means he can be used everywhere else, and he's actually very good. His ability to do, like, he gives 1.5 times effects to buffs. So that means if you have a 30% buff, the 30% buff becomes a 45% buff, which is quite insane. Not only that, he provides you with 20% basic stacks just straight up, permanently, after his buff disappears. And then that buff, which you can then reapply after using his ultimate, gives you damage reduction and increases your damage dealt. Which, think about it, it can be reapplied. That's already better than Zahard. And he's a PvE character. And it's a grey buff. If they made Zahard's buff grey, I honestly don't think we would have too big of a problem. Maybe his damage is a little bit on the lackluster side, because he struggles to wipe teams, unless of course you're Super High Box EC, Super High Constellation, all outfits, he's going to struggle to wipe teams. Because he really needs every single attack point. He needs literally every single piece of attack he can get to wipe a team, which is unfortunate. But overall, like, the characters themselves, Barrowman's only 3 of them, which in my opinion sort of makes this the most effortless collab in Grand Cross history, because there's 3 characters and one of them's the boss, right? Which is completely horrible, because it's so effortless, man. Like, if you think about it, a normal collaboration, I'll use Overlord as a quite good example here. 4 characters and a boss, which was a different character. That's 5 character models in total. This had 3 character models, including the boss, because it's one of the same characters. And guess what? The boss shares the same skill of animations. There's only 2 different, I think maybe 2 different skill animations in total that they had to do that wasn't into a character. Yeah, and not only that, they've reused assets. Once again, they've reused assets. Let me come to here. Reused asset from the Tower of God game. I don't know about this guy, because I don't think I got him whilst I was playing, but it's probably another reused asset. They've just reused assets. Actually, I'm pretty sure they have, because look, they cut it off. Why is it cut off? They've reached the end. They've literally just copy and pasted it. They've not. So they just. No, I think there's like no other character in the game that has a cut off artwork. They just copy and pasted it. This is very lackluster, but I also see the good in this. It means that yes, this is super lackluster. Yes, they've just taken assets, added it to a different game, and guess what? They're doing the same thing with the Tower of God game. They're adding a Grand Cross collab, and from what we've seen from the artwork that they've like sort of showed off to try and like hype it up, it's just reused assets. It's Purgatory Melee, which you can see quite easily by his scarf. It's pretty obvious. But it is quite good as well, because it means that, of course, this is going to give them a lot of money, which means they can put it into buying more IPs for better collaborations. So it's a win-win sort of thing. They get money, we get quite a good PvE character, a character that brings back humans, and a very unknown character that, in my opinion, could be quite good if they release a unknown that makes it so buffs can't be removed. So if you don't know, on Deer there is a buff which it gives itself, which means buffs or stances cannot be removed by skills. So I think that would be cool. Or passives, they just can't be removed. I think that would be a cool thing to have, and make it so it passively applies it to, like, I don't know, or just make it so it's a passive or something. That'll actually make him good. And the events, all recycles. Every event is a recycle. Vent Tower Trials, it goes to floor 30, which is like higher than normal. Normally it stops at 25, so that's not too bad. Spin event, standard. The final boss I kind of like, because diamonds. No other reason other than the fact I get more diamonds out of it. But that's it really. They don't really add much. Like, this is standard, these two are standard, that's pretty standard, that's standard. Like, yes, they did give out 4 free multis, which in my opinion is probably the best thing with this collab, is the fact they give you 4 free multis. But everything else is recycled content. But I do like how they've upped the rewards on these like floors and all this tower and everything, which in my opinion makes the collab a lot better, is the fact they've added all of these ways to get better resources, and all of these better resources are obtainable. For example, you've got final boss, great, you can get more diamonds. You know, in the Tower Trial, they made it so you can get the True Awakening thing. Here it is. You can get this, you can get one of them. You can get you up and you can get 5 diamonds at the end. I think that yes, this collab had a lot of super lackluster things to it, but the rewards they're giving to us sort of, in my opinion, makes up for it. For example, I've still got 1500 diamonds, right? And I've done all the rewards, I've got my characters, I'm happy, I'm not going to summon anymore. Even if I have to go 900 in the Global Festival, which of course is what I do, because festivals are kind of worth going 900 for, even if you already pick up the character. You know, I'll have enough for the next collab, because normally March is sort of a dead month, even though I'm pretty sure we're probably going to get the new Demonic Beast, and sometimes they release Demonic Beast characters with the Demonic Beast. For example, Freya released with Nidhogg, but didn't actually get the relic for Nidhogg until a bit while, and then of course it didn't go too well. People complained, and then I don't think they'll end up doing that again anytime soon. I reckon they'll make a character for it and not a relic, because it didn't go well last time. But apart from that, it's a collab, so you know, the rewards are good. The banner actually this time was quite good. Apart from the fact there's only 3 characters, I think the fact there's only 3 characters, they sort of made the banner a little bit better. Like Tyr, Tristan, Freya, Red, Magelda, you know, Roxy, even Green Matrona. Like, half these characters, like the bottom half here, these 3, are, well, they're not seasonal, but they're like newer. And of course, then you got all these as well. Tristan, Tyr, all these as well, kind of nice. Especially Tyr is quite nice to have dupes for, especially because of his Unity as well. That's where this is quite nice to get dupes for. And of course, these 3 as well, with the normal standard rate up. But overall, if I rate the collab out of 10, it's not beating ReZero. ReZero rerun, in my opinion. And so it goes ReZero rerun, then Overlord, in my opinion, in terms of the best collabs to ever release. It's ReZero rerun, then Overlord. Only because ReZero rerun, all the characters got relics. You know, some Rem became it was free and was quite a good character for Bird at the time, which was still quite challenging for some newer players. You had Echidna, who was of course a huge, actually quite usable stat booster until Freya's relic came out. Then everyone went to Freya instead, because his relic provided single target damage increase, as well as the basic stats. And then, of course, Amelia was screwed. Reinhardt was completely broken. The events, they had 3 event bosses. They had the Beetlejuice boss, they had another boss, and then they had the Rabbits, which was 500,000 CC, which means you weren't going first, and basically the way you can defeat it is with the collaboration characters. So what it done is it actually made the event seem sort of challenging. If you had the characters, it was quite easy. That's the reason I liked it. And Overlord, all the characters are usable day 1. Cocytus is quite a good PvE character, and you know, I guess the only character that in my opinion is quite lackluster was Ainz, but that's because you need him 6'6" to really feel his true power. Apart from that, all the other characters are quite usable at 1'6". Like, and for example, like people were saying this guy's always good at 1'6". It's horrible. The multiplier is super low. It's a 50% crit damage increase. It has Sever. I guess, yeah, it does give him immortality, alright? But if they have buff removal, what's that going to do? Let's compare that with, like, okay, my Albedo's 3'6", right? I'll compare it with Sholto. 5% all stats and 400% damage. And yet it will still do more, because Sholto is a better character. Just overall, Sholto is better built, she's better balanced. Yes, technically she does also suffer from the same problems as, whatever his name is, Zahard, but Sholto can regain her buff. Even if her buff is removed, she can regain it, because she has a cycle of her buff. Her buff is cycled, where Zahard's is sort of, well, the buff's gone now, so he's going to do literally no damage. Because when his buff's gone, he loses the damage per the level of skill as well. So bronze skill does 40%, silver skill 60, and then gold 120. That's gone. After your final buff's gone, that's it. You no longer have that. It means he's now a horrible character. He'll have no place in PvE. He might come back in Chaos mode because it's Chaos mode, So sort of anyone can really come back in Chaos mode. You're talking like, you know, Rem, Amelia, Beatrice could even come back. You know, all these collaboration characters are quite good for Chaos mode. Not only because they're exclusive, that means the points will actually be lower for them because people are less likely to own them. But, you know, anyone can really be usable because the point system is mental. But anyway, thank you for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.